Hi, so here we are. Let's go on with chapter 20. We'll now talk about channel satisfaction. As you know, we have talked about different kinds of satisfaction studies. We have talked about customer satisfaction, we have talked about employee satisfaction, and we have talked about, and now we will talk about channel satisfaction. All kinds of channel satisfaction studies follow the same basic structure. Overall evaluative questions, open-ended question, diagnostic satisfaction questions. In one sense, you could argue that everybody is a customer. In fact, a very good way to run a business is, to treat your customer as your customer, of course. Your employees as internal customers. Your channel as partner customers. Now, if you imbibe as an organization, if you imbibe this culture of treating everybody associated with you as a customer, because they have some expectations from you and you are providing them certain kind of services, the company as a whole will become more efficient because you'll become more service quality conscious. I know of organizations that even do supplier satisfaction studies. They want to make sure that suppliers are happy in dealing with this organization in terms of commercial terms, in terms of payment terms, in terms of politeness of interaction, and so on and so forth. So, very, very forward-thinking organizations think even of a supplier as a customer, right? So let's look at channel satisfaction. Now, why is the channel satisfaction study important? So, we will delve into this theory a little bit. But very simply put, a channel satisfaction study is important because a brand's success depends to a great extent on the support it receives from the channel. Right? And we'll talk about that support. Now, when we say channel satisfaction studies, we're normally referring to the retailers. Retailer is a shop from where we all go and buy stuff. Right? Sometimes we could be referring to distributors as well. By and large, channel satisfaction studies are done with the retailers. Now, in most markets, for most organizations, the retailers are serviced by the distributor salesman and sometimes with the company salesman. I'll explain all this in the next slide. Now, apart from the typical retailer, we also have supermarkets, hypermarkets, which are called modern trade, which are called large format stores. And these chains, they're typically serviced by the company directly, right? So let's understand a little bit about how this whole process works in terms of the channel. Right, so here we are. So this is the company. The company, of course, has a factory from where the products are made. Now, from the factory, product goes to a warehouse. The product is stocked for a long time. From here, it goes to, I'm giving a very most common kind of distribution chain. It can vary a little bit from industry to industry, from company to company. But broadly speaking, it goes to warehouses in specific regions. Warehouse in, say, Andhra Pradesh, warehouse in Maharashtra, warehouse in Uttar Pradesh, and so on and so forth. In Kerala, in Delhi, etc., 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 right? Now, these warehouses can be maintained by the company or they can be maintained by a stockist. Now, from these warehouses, the products go to distributors in different regions. Now, from a distributor, the product typically goes to a, let's say, one area of one town. This is an area of a town, let's say. It goes to the retailers there. Right? It can also go to wholesalers. What are wholesalers? In every city there are wholesale markets, right? All of us are aware of these wholesale markets. We have seen people going and buying vegetables from wholesale markets, buying products in bulk from wholesale markets, so on and so forth. So wholesalers are large retailers who sell products in bulk at a slightly lower price, and you can buy it when you go to the typical retailer. Now, wholesalers can either service end consumers or they can service small retailers. For example, the lady who comes to my home for cleaning vessels and so forth, she also has a very, very small shop. It's a tea shop. So she serves tea there, and she has some basic products. She has some matchboxes, she has some milk, maybe she has 2-3 biscuit packets, some small, kurkure kind of packets, so on and so forth. All sachet size, nothing very large size. And her customers are in that one small street, lower middle income kind of street. Now, she is such a small retailer that a distributor does not service her shop. They don't send a salesperson to the shop. So she goes and buys from the wholesaler. Once a week or once in 2 weeks, she goes to the wholesaler market, picks up what she wants, brings it back in an auto kind of thing. And that's how she stocks her shop, right? So the wholesalers service these kind of retailers, and there are some consumers who buy directly from wholesalers. And of course, the various retailers buy from, various retailers service the end consumers, which is people like us. So this is the process. This is the channel how the product goes from the company to the end consumer, right? Now, I'll just get a fresh slide again. So now, the distributor has salespeople working under them. Salesperson 1, salesperson 2, salesperson 3. They also have vans for delivering products. The company, of course, has salespeople working under them, and so on and so forth. Now, let's say this is a street. And there's a shop here, 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 and there's a shop here. Now, this particular salesman is supposed to cover this area, right? So, he will have a journey map. He will first go to the shop, then he will go to the shop. When he goes to the shop, he talks to the shopper and he says, Acha, do you have our products? How many products do you have? How many cartons do you have? How's it going in the market? Are consumers coming and asking for the product? Are you happy with the service? Any issues? Anything you're facing? He'll have a chat with the shop. Then he says, why don't you buy some more? Just one more carton you buy, I'll get it sent across. The shop says, yeah, that is fine. They send across the shop, we'll send across the carton of this product. But on this product, on the other product, I'm placing a shortfall. Can you quickly organize delivery? So the distributor will then make a phone call back to the warehouse, to the distributor office, and he'll ensure, or the distributor's storage point, and he'll ensure that the product gets delivered to the shop, right? And then he goes to the next shop, and then it goes to the next shop. Now, in some areas, they do this, they have a weekly cycle of meeting. In some areas, they have a fortnightly cycle of meeting. That varies from category to category, varies from market to market, varies from industry to industry. But this is the process. Once in a while, the company salesperson goes with this person so that he also gets a first-hand idea. He doesn't visit each of the shops as often as a distributor salesperson does. But he also has to visit each of the shops at some set frequency, or at least each of the important shops. Important as defined by the size of the sales. So this process is repeated across different areas, different localities, and so on and so forth. So this is why we talked about being serviced by a distributor salesperson and by company salesperson. This is clear what actually happens. Can I go on? Right? Okay. So, to go back, some consumers know which brand they want. Some consumers go and ask a shop saying, can you suggest a brand to me? In those situations, the channel person will suggest the brand of the company with whom he has got the best interaction, with whom is more satisfied. This is one reason why channel satisfaction is extremely important. Some consumers walk into a shop, look around them in the shop, and then pick up the brand which is most visible. The channel person ensures maximum visibility for the shop, for the brand which has got the best interaction with and which is most satisfied with. This is another reason why channel satisfaction is important. So these are the two reasons why channel satisfaction study is extremely important. If your channel is not satisfied with you, then even if you do an excellent job of building brand equity, you will not get the full benefit of building the brand equity. On the other hand, if your channel is satisfied with you, you can have reasonably good sales, even if your brand equity is not very strong, because your channel is pushing the product to the consumer. If you remember when we talked about brand health, we said the job of the brand is to ensure pull, the job of the channel is to ensure push of the product to the consumer, right? If this is clear, let's go forward. So, as I said earlier, channel satisfaction studies follow the same pattern as customer satisfaction studies. There are evaluative and there are diagnostic questions. The evaluative questions are the same: overall satisfaction, intention to continue, willingness to recommend, and it is recommended that we use the same NPS scale that we talked about, 0 to 11. The diagnostic questions, and here is where we show our domain understanding. If you remember, we said in every domain, the diagnostic questions are specific to that particular domain. In channel satisfaction too, we need to show an understanding of a company's interaction with a channel partner, right? There are 4 broad areas of the company's interaction with a channel partner. 1 is the commercial terms. 2 is the product itself. So this is product and pack, by the way. Product and packaging. 3 is the marketing support from the company. 4 is the quality of service from the company or from the distributor. 4 broad areas for channel satisfaction. Now, what is marketing support? I'll just say that in one word. Marketing support is the extent to which the company tries to ensure consumer pull. At this point in time, let's take a step back and look at why is the retailer stocking a product. He is stocking a product so that when a consumer comes to buy that product, the consumer doesn't go away. So the retailer wants to earn income from the consumer. The retailer is a businessman. Now, if he's got the option of stocking brand A and brand B, he is going to stock that brand which makes more money for him with less effort. Any good businessman does it. Maximum income, minimum effort. Effort could be in terms of the effort he has to spend to convince consumers. Effort could be in terms of the amount of space he has to give to the product for stocking. Effort could be in terms of the money he has to spend in terms of storage of the product. Retailers will ensure that wherever the money is maximum, wherever the profit is maximum, they will stock in those brands and they will push those brands more. right? So there is this constant tussle between the company saying, why don't you stock this brand of mine? And the retailer is saying, hey, but your product doesn't sell so well. Tell me why I should stock it. So the company will say, we have given you 5 brands. Those brands are so successful. They're making so much money for you. The 6th brand is not yet successful. It will make money when you start stocking it. So these kind of dialogues keep going on between the company and the retailer. When I say company, I mean company salesman and retailer, also distributor salesman and retailer. Right? So the retailer needs to be given a commercial logic about why he should stock a particular brand, about why he should provide shelf space and visibility for a particular brand, and about why he should push a particular brand to the end consumer. And he will do these things provided he is satisfied with the company on these 4 broad parameters. So under these 4, what are the parameters that come? Under commercial terms, number of days credit is given. So typically the way this works is if I'm a shopkeeper and I pick up, let's say, 5 cartons of Parle-G biscuits. Just for example, 5 cartons of Parle-G biscuits. The retailer will give me some time to pay. First I buy the product. He will give me some, the distributor will give me some time to pay for these products, right? How much time will he give? He will give maybe 2 weeks, maybe he'll give 21 days, maybe he'll give me 0 days. Now that varies based on the company's policy. It will vary based on the distributor's policy. It will vary based on the retailer's track record of paying. If the retailer is an important retailer and has had a very good track record of selling and also has got a very good track record of paying on time, they will extend this credit. That's what happens to consumer as well, right? We go to a bank, we have a good track record of paying a loan, we'll get a loan more easily. The CIBIL score is all about that. The same principle happens here, that the retailers who have got a good credit history and a good track record will be given more credit. But the extra credit will be, a few days' time. By and large, the amount of credit that they are given depends on the company's policy, which is why the credit terms, the credit policy is one of the aspects on which the retailer evaluates how satisfied he is with the organization. So what's a margin percentage? In an FMCG product or in a pharmaceutical product in a medicine shop, typically the margin is anywhere between 15% and 18 to 20%. Very, very rarely is it more than 25%. Very, very rarely is it less than 15%. I'm talking about the retailer. The distributor gets only 2 or 3%, but the distributor is doing huge volumes. He's doing crores and crores of turnover. Right? I know one particular distributor who caters to one portion of Chennai, a small portion of Chennai for Hindustan Unilever, and his turnover from Hindustan Unilever products alone is about 98 to 100 crores, if I remember correctly, of rupees. And he works on a 2.5 to 3% margin on that, right? So the retailer's margin is, if you have more margin, every half a percentage extra means more money for that particular retailer. Offers for retailers. Companies keep making offers for retailers, and they go to the retailer and say, listen, you're selling 5 cartons now. Why don't you make it 8 cartons? More than 8 cartons, for every extra carton, we'll give you so many percentage of margin extra, or we'll give you a free holiday, or we'll give you something else, some other goodie, right? So the company is telling the retailer, sell more and I'll reward you with something. And the reward can be extra margins, or the rewards can be, some goodies or something in kind, right? Also, a retailer is evaluating a company on policy of, let's say you're having 100 packs or 1 pack is damaged. Does the company take it back? Or the company tells the retailer, hey, you bought it, it's your problem now. Right? Companies that have more sort of broad-minded policy on these things tend to have the retailer more satisfied. Sometimes the product doesn't get sold up to its expiry date stock. What does the company do? Does the company say, okay, it's not sold, I'll take it back. You don't have to pay for it. Or does the company say, You bought it, it's your problem to sell it. The fact that it's expired on your shelf doesn't means you have to pay for it, I don't have to pay for it. All these are the give and take that happen between the company and the distributor and the retailer at any point in time with respect to the commercial terms. That could be other things as well, but these are the 3 or 4 main things in the commercial terms. Product. The last thing the retailer wants to hear is that the consumer comes and buys a product from him and then comes back next day and say, hey, you know what, I bought this from you and that has given me a stomach ulcer, or it has made my skin go black, or my hair is falling off, right, and so on and so forth. So the lack of product complaints from the consumer, and also when stored in the shop about packaging complaints, etc., is an important part of how a retailer evaluates how that company is, what that product is. So when consumers come back and say, hey, this new brand that you have stocked, my daughter really liked it, it's a very tasty biscuit. Then the retailer says, my consumers like it. I need to have more stock of that particular brand. Common sense logic. But it is this common sense logic that gets translated to marketing action when it goes up the chain from the retailer to the distributor to the company. And this is why companies have to reach out to retailers and find out what they have to say, what they have to think about the brand. Marketing support. Does the company invest enough effort and money in ensuring consumer pull? Does the company make the effort to make the consumer come into the shop and say and ask for the brand? Or is it up to the retailer to push the brand always? Retailers obviously would like it if a consumer comes and asks for the brand. And when more consumers come and ask for the brand, they are more likely to stock that brand. They're more likely to talk to the company and say, hey, you know what, the consumers are asking for this. They seem to have seen a TV ad for this product of yours, but I'm not getting it from the distributor. Can you ensure that this is made available to me? Otherwise, I'm losing consumers. My consumers are coming in, asking for this product, and they're walking out to some other shop and they find that I don't have it. Right? So, consumer pull creation is the company's job. And the retailer evaluates the relationship with the company based on how well the company creates the pull. So the retailer needs to see advertising. The retailer needs to see a lot of advertising, visibly on television, on newspapers, in terms of posters, in terms of hoardings. And he says, company is doing this job. They're putting enough effort to market this product. So, since the company is doing so much effort, consumers will come and ask for the brand. It makes sense for me also to stock the brand. But if the retailer doesn't see any advertising all around him in his environment, then he is going to be like, this company is not doing enough for the brand. They're asking me to stock it. Doesn't look like consumers will come and ask for it. Why would they stock the brand? So mass media, posters, offers for consumers, 1 plus 1 free, or 25% extra, or spoon free with every pack. Blah 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 blah. So many offers that we have all seen. And so many jokes we have all cracked about. What kind of offers companies come up with. The companies need to provide offers because that's when the retailer feels a sense of motivation in pushing that particular brand better. Okay, so far with commercial terms, with product quality and marketing support. Can I go forward? Here we are with the fourth parameter, quality of service. So what is quality of service? The distributor salesman has to come and talk to the company, has to come and talk to the shop, has to come. How often? They want him to come once a week or twice a week. So frequency of salesperson visit from the company and from the distributor. So the retailer has to say, yeah, he comes to meet me. The bigger the retailer, the bigger the ego they have. They want to be able to say, yeah, your salesperson came and met me, and he asked me for more orders. So I placed an extra 5 orders with him. He's a big businessman. Just to set this in context, we all go to a small grocery shop and we buy stuff, neighborhood grocers. As a fairly small grocery shop, which has got, let's say, 20 by 10 kind of shop, right? 20 feet depth and 10-foot front facing the road. Such a shop will have an annual turnover of about 2 to 2.5 crore rupees. So it's a fairly big business. And the cost of rent in such areas is not high. And the employee cost is also not very high. He's not like an e-commerce guy who's hiring fancy people at fancy salaries. Just has very ordinary boys and girls staying in those shop counters. So in these kind of businesses, right, when you talk about, let's say, 2 crores turnover, and we talk about, just for example, an 18% margin, we're talking about this company having a gross profit of about 40 to 45 lakhs, which is owner of the company, owner of that shop is taking home 30 lakhs plus as his personal income. So it's a fairly big businessman. He's got a fairly big ego. And he wants to be able to tell, your company salesman, your salesman came and met me. Actually, you know what, the distributor guy, sales is not coming very often. So, you tell him to come and meet me more often. Right? Many of them have this kind of thing. Now, when the salesperson comes, he asks for an order. He says, I need to buy 5 more cartons, 3 more cartons, etc., etc. So, if the retailer says, okay, fine, send me some cartons, then the product has been delivered from the warehouse. So, time taken to deliver stock. What is the mechanism of ordering? How much of effort is involved? Is there a good software to keep track of how much you have ordered? Good software to keep track of, whether you have paid, so on and so forth. All these go under the service parameters. So, when the retailer is satisfied on all these 4 parameters, that is when he is going to do the best possible effort for the organization, right? So the questions in a channel satisfaction study also relate to these 4 parameters, right? They were here. So the studies are done through quantitative research. The random sample of retailers is extremely important. Data collection is normally face-to-face because retailers don't really respond very well to telephonic surveys. So this is done in the traditional method of sending feet on field to the shop, right? In the shop kind of interviews. Now, an important point to note here is that this is normally taken for the competition as well. So if I'm Hindustan Lever and let's say I'm doing this study for the soaps business of mine. So my competitors are Godrej, my competitors are Procter & Gamble, my competitors are Johnson & Johnson, right? And competitors are brands like Medimix. There are so many brands that provide soap. And the shop has got my soap, which is Lifebuoy, and Lux and Little and Dove, because I'm Levers. The shop has also got Pierce, which is my competitor. It's got Johnson & Johnson Baby Soap, which is my competitor. It's got Medimix. It's got Rexona. It's got Hammam, it's got Margo, it's got Vivel from ITC, and so on and so forth. So, all those other companies are my competitors in terms for the retailer's share of mind, for the retailer's share of shelf space, for the retailer's share of visibility in the shop. Therefore, it's not enough for this guy to be satisfied with me. It is important for them to be more satisfied with me than with my competition. So, normally, a channel satisfaction study, when you ask questions about how happy they are with you, you also ask them how happy they are with the other companies whose products they deal in. Right? So let's take a break here and we'll come back.